Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo won't make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Podium podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis,
Melly Mac. It's your boy Key.
What you scheming on over there, bro? Oh, you forgot to take his keyboard stuff. All right, listen, we got to
back.
Huh?
All is good.
Oh, all right, there you go. Right. Listen, we got a great show lined up for y'all. So just listen, kick back, relax, and get ready for the show to start.
Get them Twitter fingers ready,
fellas. I heard something today. We just gonna get it rolling because we don't have a lot of time. I heard something today that I didn't realize is as infuriating as it is at this point in the game now with the Buffalo Bills. Okay?
I'm excited.
I heard somebody call a radio show and ask, what do you think about Josh Allen going up tempo and running a no-huddle offense like the old K-gun back in the 90s? You have got to be kidding me with this no-huddle mess. How many times are we going to ask this question?
It's trendy.
Like every single year, somebody's calling in, hey, what about that no-huddle? What about that K-gun? Hey, what about that K-gun?
But you know what? I'm better with that than when they call and say, hey, we just put Josh Allen as middle linebacker. Like, what? Why? that one lives in them and be like, what?
Yeah. Surprisingly, Cam Newton used to be a linebacker.
Yeah, I sent that to you.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I never knew that. Yo, the dude used to be a linebacker. That explains a lot.
I thought about Tremaine Edmonds right away because the same height, same size. I'm like,
oh yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. But yeah, I heard that and I was just like, how much longer are we gonna go through this phase of trying to recreate the greatness of the 90s?
Right.
The league is not set up to do that anymore. People, come on, man.
No, I mean that's true, but you know what it is? It's like I told you. I always tell you, we got to be more progressive. We live in the past. The Bills fandom lives in the past. It's like it's been done. We saw it done, but they don't understand it. It's called adjustments. Why do you think every time the Bills come out and do the same thing this season, 2023, we'll say, and they do the same thing in the second half they did in the first, it don't work. They don't make adjustments. They live in the past.
Yep.
We want to be progressive. We want to change that. We got to shift that paradigm right away.
Exactly. And that's one of those things where when you watch the game last night and you hear the announcers talk about the creativity of defensive coordinators like Lua Inarumo and Steve Spagnuolo, that's something we've been talking about on this show for since we started the show. You know what I'm saying? That is something that makes those guys great at what they do. It also, check this out, it helps the salary cap. Why? Because you don't need guys like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. You can make do with whoever you got.
You said salary cap. Now I'm listening. You said salary cap. Man, listen.
Like it makes it so that you can spend more money or invest more in the offense. Right? The Chiefs on the offensive line alone are going to have to. Matter of fact, they just paid Creed Humphrey, didn't they? They gave him a big deal. The guard I think is coming up next year. So they're going to have to invest in that offensive line, right? On top of that, Rashee Rice is going to be up in a couple of years. Xavier Worthy's going to be up in a few years. I think Travis Kelce is. How many years does Travis Kelce have left on his deal?
How many years left does he have in his career?
He might have 2 or 3. Yeah, I'd say 2 or 3.
Like to say, KC, they only play their staple pieces like Rashee Rice and all the wide receivers. They can grab some more people.
Right.
Right.
I mean, they're not gonna pay them.
Yeah, their left tackle is undrafted rookie out of wherever they came from.
Yeah, they only keep their foundational pieces. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. Kelsey's got a 4-year contract. Looks like it's over in 2026.
Okay.
They have a potential out next year, actually, if they want it. It'd be a $2 million dead cap hit.
They won't exercise that.
No, definitely not.
He just got finished saying that he didn't think about retirement ever. You see, he said, I forgot who he quoted, but he said he talked to somebody and I think it was Edelman. He said that after a while, the practice and the grind became too much. It wasn't fun anymore. And that's when Edelman said, I'm done. And Travis said, I'm still having fun. I'm still liking coming to work. So he's got a couple more years to go. You know, he's running from Swifty right now. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that'll change after this season, though. He's gonna be in his brother's boat. Like, I think I'm done.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Especially if they don't win.
If they go,
yeah.
if they don't win?
Yeah, if they don't win, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine them not winning after watching them last night, man. I can't imagine them not winning. When you look at what that team is just now in week 1, they've already shown everybody they know how to use Worthy, and Worthy wasn't even a highly targeted player. I think he had 3-4 touches in the entire game.
3 catches in a run,
right, and 2 touchdowns to boot. Mm-hmm. So you combine that with Travis Kelce still there. Rashee Rice is now an inside guy tearing it up, right? And oh, by the way, Hollywood Brown still got to come back. When he gets back, now you got 2 guys taking the top off the defense. Oh, and by the way, they can run the ball whenever they want.
You getting excited?
I am because the defense doesn't look like it's lost that much. Now, I will say this: the pass defense does look more vulnerable this year. So I would say the Bills have a shot there. The Bills have kind of always been good at passing on that team. I think it's just been a matter of protection for Josh, and I think it's been a matter of our defense against their offense that's been the issues, like you talked about last week. But I mean, I don't see that being a blaring weakness with a guy like Spags in the playoffs, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You guys see anybody else right now as being like that team?
I don't think that Kansas City is that good.
Really?
I'll be honest with you. I really don't.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Last night I thought they could have been beat. They beat Baltimore beat themselves last night. You know, with the sit down that wasn't.
Wait, is that the justification for saying that Kansas City is not that good, or are there other reasons?
No. So like they kind of look sloppy. Like Mahomes missed some throws. He threw a pick. Like it didn't look like an all cohesive unit, like ready to go. And again, it's week 1. So
yes, that's probably my
a lot of it
justification for
is
week 1.
Week 1, right? And then 2, like I don't know, like they're definitely beatable. Like Kelsey didn't get targeted until like the second half or the second quarter. Like so, like I don't know, they're definitely beatable. The Ravens had them. They had them.
They did.
Multiple times.
You know Rashad Bateman with multiple legal procedures. You know, you had
my man Isaiah Likely put Karlaftis on his butt.
He sure did. That was a great block.
Like
great block.
I don't know. Like both of the teams are good, but I think they're definitely beatable. Like they're not like, oh my God, we can't beat this team. So like,
do you think it's more the Ravens are underrated, or do you think Kansas City is just not? You think they're truly just not that good? I think for me, when I watched that game last night, I saw a lot of things out of Lamar that people don't give him credit for. He's a running quarterback. However, what did he do? He ran with his eyes up the whole time. He was looking to make a pass. He wasn't looking to run. Yeah. You know, he was quick. He was decisive. He got the ball out. You know,
but that's something he got a lot better at. I would say last year is where he really stepped that up. You know what I'm saying? But I texted y'all last night, like he played at an MVP level in this game. Yeah. Like they should have. You're right. They should have won that game. I think for me, I extrapolate things, and I'm looking at this Chiefs team in week 1 being able to do some of the things that they can do with the weapons they have. They're not even a complete team yet.
You're thinking, but they're going to get better as they go on.
That's what I'm saying. Every team is. They don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? They have to. So if this is what the Chiefs are now, and the Ravens, however we want to look at it, at the end of the day, the Ravens had a chance to win the game and didn't. I mean, you could. I would say this. The game last year with the Chiefs and the Lions, made the Chiefs look like a tougher team defensively than they looked this year, right? But again, that's to be expected because they lost a linebacker. They lost, L'Jarius Sneed. They traded him away. You know what I mean? So like they lost some really strong pieces on that D. So it's expected that they're gonna not be as strong. But they did good. They did do a good job in kind of managing the Ravens' run game. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that Lamar Jackson needed for that team to really dominate that game. You know what I mean? When we were still in the first quarter and the Ravens were running that first drive, they looked dominant. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's really before the Chiefs were seeing what they wanted to do and were able to adjust to it. And once they learned that they just needed to shut down the run and put it in Lamar Jackson's hands because they really only had one option in Zay Jones at that point, then it became predictable. Then that's when you saw Isaiah Likely pop up because they didn't have no, you know what I'm saying? Like Mark Andrews wasn't winning. So, all right, Likely, get in there. Let's see what you got. He popped. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I extrapolate a lot, but
I can take it. You got comments up or no?
Huh?
You got comments up or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we got a bunch of comments.
Yeah, I was looking. I didn't know if you had them up or what.
Yep. So Neil Stanton, welcome to the show, my man. He says we need to start with a statement. I agree with that.
Boom! Punch him in the mouth.
Wait. A little late.
Bam, 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 bam. Punch him in the mouth.
Okay. Mag, what you got?
We definitely gotta set the statement, man. Beating them because to me, this is an easy beatable team. Like there should be no reason why we should struggle with this team, why we should lose to this game. So like I'm looking forward to the Bills to like this is their get me right game. Like after the preseason and after training camp, like this game is to get y'all right. I'm worried about next week, but this week should be fine.
What about Miami?
Yes, big time.
Miami's worried about us big time.
You think so?
Oh, I know so.
They are?
Oh, I know so. I listened to their podcast.
Really?
Yeah, because they got a lot of injuries. They got a lot of holes as it was, and they're injured on top of that. Yeah, they're worried about us.
See, I'm on the flip side because I think it's too early to get Miami. Like I will have Miami like a couple weeks down the road. Like I don't want them.
Are you thinking of them as like Miami's offense or the whole team?
Just the whole team.
Okay.
The whole team. Like we talked about it before after the draft. Like I think Miami is the second best team in the AFC East.
I do too.
So playing them week 2 in Miami.
Look at it like this though. Look at it like this. They don't have Van Ginkel anymore. Chubb is just coming off an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Phillips is just. I don't think they're even playing. Right. They're not even sure they're playing. Jalen Ramsey has a hamstring.
So they don't have any pass rushers.
Basically. They have nothing. They don't have Christian Wilkins anymore. They got Seiler. They don't have.
On top of that, it's a new defensive coordinator, and it's very rare for a team to lose their defensive coordinator and play as well as the Ravens played last night. I think that speaks to the players they had on defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then Mr. Poyer's there.
What's that?
Poyer's there.
Oh, you think Poyer gonna give him an edge?
Poyer knows Josh. Like maybe not like the defense, because like you said, they got a new defensive coordinator, so they run a new defense. They got to get used to that system. But if he's starting, he knows Josh. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he likes to do, what he don't like to do. So I can see him becoming a problem. Especially too, now we ain't got Diggs to rely on. So now we got Coleman, Hollins, Shakir. Like
I think that works in our favor. Because it's a whole new offense now. I think that works. Nobody knows what they didn't show us anything in preseason. That's for me.
Right.
If they do that, then I'm good. But I don't know what they like you said.
I don't know either.
That's what they're gonna do.
Right. Yeah, that's the
now, now, I will say this: how did you guys like the Ravens' offense?
You mean the personnel or the scheme?
The scheme and personnel actually. Would you be okay if that was the Bills?
I would be okay. Josh would not be okay. Josh did that and he hated it. That's the thing. Those little short passes.
Now the caveat is, me personally, I think we got more weapons than the Ravens had. To me, like they got Zay Flowers is a beast, Likely and Andrews.
That's it.
Right? And then you got Henry, which I don't know why they stopped giving him the ball. They could have kept pounding the ball with him, but they stopped. And they enforced it with Lamar. But I think with us, we could do that. We got Kincaid, Knox, Shakir, Coleman, Samuel. I think we got more weapons to do it. The other thing is, I didn't know Likely and Andrews was out there a lot together.
Yeah.
So they ran like the 12, like
Yeah,
we was gonna run,
Mhm.
and it worked for them. For the most part.
Mhm.
So like I don't know, like would I be okay or would y'all be cool if we ran it like that? But so,
I'll
like I
be
said,
fine.
we got more weapons.
I'll be fine with it. Like I said, you have to trust Josh to run that, but I'd be fine with it. What I'm afraid of is like I was watching the game last night and we got comments. Somebody, I think Lindsay, even commented that you are looking dashing in your Josh Allen jersey. She said,
"Oh
"Good job."
yes,
Yeah.
it is NFL kickoff weekend. This is the best time of the year,
Absolutely.
the greatest time of the year. Like not just for football. Like just think about it real quick. Just think about it. Even at home, you're saving money. Wanna know why? Because at this time, it's not too cold, it's not too hot. So we're in the Goldilocks zone where your heat's not on, your AC's not on. You could just kind of just coast. You got football, you saving money. Like you can wear a jersey, a nice jeans, a nice boot, a nice sneaker. Like you got all the options, man. Like this is the best time of the year, man. It's football weekend.
Give me next month.
Next month?
Next month. Basketball.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir. Junie, where you at? No. But no, I would be very happy with that offense. Those were some of the most exciting games for me last year that Josh called boring. But see, I was watching Lamar last night, and this is not a Josh versus Lamar. I can't stand it. Somebody said something. They showed the likely not sit down, and I knew as soon as it happened, Lamar thought he was going to sit down in that zone. There was two linebackers were not likely. Flowers was going, so he threw it where he thought he was going to stop. Soon as I look go on X today, had that been Josh, I would have flamed him. This dude, he's the worst MVP I've ever seen. I'm like, did you not watch the rest of the game?
Right.
Did you not watch this man play? And the thing about what Lamar did, and people won't believe it because of who they typecast him as, is he was looking to throw the ball. He wasn't looking to run unless it was a quarterback keeper.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I was very shocked. Like you said, that was something he started doing mostly last year. And that's growth. Where Josh is like, okay, you know, your boy Deion Dawkins, he fell apart. I'm out of here. I forget all the rest of receiving. I'm running now. You know, there's no I think it was last year the Steelers game, the preseason game where Josh scrambled to the right, and I talked to you about it, and I was like, Kincaid was right in front of him, wide open. Why didn't he throw him the ball? You know, he's wide open for the first down.
Right.
Throw just a little. No, he had to run it. You know, and that's the difference between the Josh that we knew and the Josh that I want. The Josh that I think wins the Super Bowl is the one that takes those plays. And so for that offense, with our Josh, with our James Cook, with our Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, let me have it.
Yeah.
Let me have it.
What you think, A? Would you want that?
No, not for this offense. I mean, obviously we don't have a Zay Jones to be able to run something like that with. I don't think Curtis Samuel is that kind of guy. One of the things I heard Greg Cosell talk about today was how closely Curtis Samuel relates to a guy like Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
And I think that's what we should expect to see with Curtis Samuel. Like Brady has kind of talked about that already.
Yeah. Brady said
Yeah. He wants to use him as more of a gadget guy, you know, running back sometimes here and whatever. And that's cool, but they don't have someone who is as elite as a Hollywood Brown or an Xavier Worthy at taking the top off the defense. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I think the type of offense they almost have to run is your more, you know, kind of West Coast system where there's, you know, run after the catch expected. It's like that's what I think we're going to see more of. You know what I mean? Those are the types of offenses that fit more of what we have. You know what I mean? And even a guy like Isaiah Likely, like he's a little bit faster than Kincaid, if I'm not mistaken. I don't recall what his 40 time is. I'll look it up right now. But
you know what's funny though? He's faster than Kincaid, but not faster than Knox. Knox is faster than Kincaid.
Really?
Yeah.
Knox
ran like a 4.5. Kincaid's like a 4.7.
And then Likely the way he runs to me like a running back. Like he's looking to dip and dunk. Knox is looking to run you over.
I'm laughing that you said that because in my mind I was going to make a point, and you made it for me. You know where he came from? College, Coastal Carolina. You know what offense they run?
Ooh, I love Coastal Carolina.
They run a wishbone offense. So Likely was like an option guy. He lined up behind the quarterback. He was an ace back, the guy that could carry the ball.
Yeah.
A lot of misdirection, so that's why he runs like a running back.
So wait, is it just me, or does Likely look like he's faster than Kincaid on the field? Is it just me? Last night, Likely looked like he was faster than Kincaid.
He might, but I gotta see Kincaid in the position to make those plays. I think I agree with you, but I can't definitively state it.
So you want to know what Likely's 40 time was?
4.6.
4.75.
4.83.
4.83.
This dude's a 4.83.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna chalk that up to he didn't practice for the 40.
Keon Coleman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Some guys just don't practice for it, but they play faster than what the 40 time indicates. And I'm sure that's something that Brandon Bean was hopeful for, because they really wanted Coleman. So
we got these comments rolling in. Okay, we got let's see. White Towns Kings. We may not need the Kagan anymore, but we do need the fast tempo in our offense. Okay. I mean, we're younger, so let's run. You know, I remember in Temptation movie, you know, you guys are standing there snapping your fingers singing, but we're young. We want to move, and we need to want to move on that offense. Lindsay, I think we're going to show that just for a second, because I did want to talk about that. Spencer Brown. And you see anything that you're gravitating towards? What you got?
Anything that I'm in the comments?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So let's start here. Lindsay says, I have a "are you kidding me" moment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to show. Okay, let's go ahead. Yep.
Where in the hell did they get the money to extend Spencer Brown, and why?
Easy. What did we talk about last show? What we talked about?
They have no cap space
with Epinesa and Daquan Jones. Exactly.
Yep.
No cap space. You said extend. You didn't say re-sign.
Yep.
Extend. What does that do? It opens up more cap space.
And it pushes big
money to the back end if you so choose, where we actually have money. So why? Because, I mean, let's face it, the offensive line, love them or hate them, we're pretty good last year. They can expound upon it and get better. Hopefully Connor McGovern is that missing piece, which I don't believe, but I'm going to be optimistic here. But yeah, I mean, it's just the long and short of it is money-wise, it made the most sense. And I do expect something crazy. So hold on to your hat, something like 4 years, $60 million. With 37 or so guarantees, so that gives them 15 million potential, 9.2 or so guaranteed, which is good, which is a good contract for a guy who they expected to earn about 15 million on the free agent lot.
Wow. And I think 15 is like slightly above average money for a right tackle nowadays. So it just seems like more than it actually is when you hear the number.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm in total agreement with that. I think that's so the why obviously is because they need more cap space, and that's a move that they can make that gives them a little bit more wiggle room under the cap. So that's why you do it.
Right.
Generally, Bean tries to keep somewhere between 2 and 5 million throughout the year in case they need to go out and find a replacement for an injured player or something.
He's scratching and clawing to get there too. He
put
out all the stops to get there.
Yeah, absolutely right. Rich says McDermott for president. Of course.
Obligatory at this point.
Yeah, Roy says this team doesn't have the weapons to win a Super Bowl with. I'll say this because you know what? Let me also read Steve's comments, and then what's going on in Comic Vet? He says, "What up, fam?"
Yo.
So Steve says, "How did you all like? How did you like all the could have been Bills the other night? MVP Mahomes, 2 TDs, Worthy, and Punt God. Chickens and come home to roost."
Don't take Malcolm X is saying no. And it's funny because we talked about this a while ago. I think we talked about it around draft time where I ran down the trades we made and the players the other teams got. And I was like, okay, so Justin Jefferson. And this morning on the I don't want to say the 550 show, but on Jeremy and Joe, they were talking about how no, we didn't trade Justin Jefferson for stuff. You kind of did, but to the point is, would the Bills have taken Justin Jefferson? I probably would have said no.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When did he? Where did they draft him at?
First round was
21st overall pick.
Or, yeah, 21st
in the first round.
So they took Jefferson in the first round.
Yeah.
He wasn't the first receiver off the board though.
No,
the Bills wouldn't did it.
The Bills ain't doing that.
Not in the first.
They would have tried to trade back into the second round and do it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's a slippery slope because now to extrapolate on that, you have to look at Coleman versus Leggett. You got to look at Coleman versus Worthy because those are the two wide receivers that got traded for that the Bills gave up. Finger quote for the guys listening at home and not watching. But I mean, it's a slippery slope to have because you're right. There's a lot of guys that we could have and should have had in a team that we could have and should have built. But alas, here we are. When you asked earlier, do I have any remorse about Worthy? Would I text you last night? I said, you know what? The Bills wouldn't know how to use him the right way. I'm just going to tell myself that to make myself feel better.
Right.
Because anybody that watched the show during the draft lead up, I was all about Xavier Worthy. I didn't care he was 165 pounds.
Right.
I was pleading with you guys to forget about that metric. But the Bills just said, you know what? Let's go get the big guy instead.
Now, let me ask you this. Were you impressed with Worthy or he was mad to you?
Last night?
Yep.
That's what I expected. Because what people don't realize when they see a 6 foot, 175 pound receiver that runs a 4.21, they think, oh, he's a speed guy. No, this dude was the most complete guy they had on the team. Adonai Mitchell was not that dude. It was Xavier Worthy the whole time.
Yeah.
So I mean, I expect him to grow, especially if Rashee Rice misses time for a suspension or otherwise.
But this is how they usually do it though with their new receivers. You know, they sprinkle them in here and there, and then as the season goes, they get more and more touches.
Mm-hmm.
I think just for Rashee Rice, it just became necessary faster because they had nobody else they could depend on. You know what I mean? So he's kind of how would you say it? Like he's kind of the exception from the rule, right? But with Worthy, I think what you're seeing is probably what you're going to get for the next few weeks. You know what I mean? For like maybe I'd say 2 to 4 plays designed for him, and you're probably going to see at least one pop play a game for him. They're going to dial it up. And I think once they get to like week 5, 6, teams are going to, plan for those kind of plays, the screens and stuff like that. And they'll have to, get them to do more. And the crazy part is, at some point this season, probably sooner than later, Hollywood Brown's going to return. And then what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Because Hollywood Brown is a similar player in terms of agility and speed. So I'll say this. I think Brady would know how to use a guy like Worthy, but I don't think that Worthy's talent, his physical ability, would have been tolerated sitting on the bench.
No,
like Coleman is.
Right. No.
You see what I'm saying? I think some of that plays into why Coleman was the pick over Worthy. It's a very similar reason to what they said about Kyer Elam when he was picked, right? He was one of the more athletic corners in that draft. And at the time, he was physically the best corner that we had on the team when we drafted him, right? So at that point, people are looking at his speed, they're looking at his size, they're looking at his tape, they're looking at his athleticism, and they're saying he needs to start, right? And I think the Bills saw that and were like, whoa. We're not going to just put a guy on the field because he's physically better or faster or he was drafted at a certain point. And Bean even said that, like, we don't like putting guys in that position,
which is ludicrous.
Exactly.
Which is ludicrous.
Exactly.
I mean, how could you justify to the Bills fans when you're watching possibly the slowest wide receiver core at least in the AFC?
Yeah.
And you got this dude on the bench that runs faster than whoever you want to name.
Yep.
And he says, "Oh, well, he's not ready yet. Let me be the judge of that. He could be a hell of a decoy.
Yeah,
I throw him out there. Let me see what he's got. So yeah, I mean, it's just those weird games that they play that I can't get behind. If you're gonna play the young guy, I happen to be a fan of two teams that they're like afraid of rookies. The Nuggets and the Bills. They're afraid of rookies. They refuse. You just sit there and rot, because it seems like in both regards they like to depreciate the value of their rookies, so that when they have to re-sign them, they can get them at a price that they want them to get them at. Yeah. And so you don't want your guy to ball out and be a star. And I don't say Keon Coleman can't be a star, but I think that there are guys out there that had more star power, more star potential, that they were like, you know what? We can't handle that. We can't do that in Buffalo. It doesn't go with what we're trying to build here, the culture. And no, Roy, I wanted to touch on that comment. When they extend people
which
usually.
one? Okay. So Roy says, I would think his extension doesn't kick in until next season anyway. Probably doesn't affect this year's cap space.
Yeah, what they do is they extend people so they can maneuver money. That's really what it is. They want to maneuver money where they can. When you extend people, you can. It's basically like a restructure, if you will.
Yep.
A restructure with no void years, or maybe he has void years on it that I didn't hear about yet.
So technically, it does open up cap space this year. Mm-hmm. But you're right. It like that. The extension won't kick in terms of the money he's making until next year.
Right.
So, but yeah, it does affect this year's cap.
Right.
Roy also says, I know there are plenty of fans that want McDermott gone. I, for one, have many questions for some of Bean's decisions. That I don't think that's unfounded either. I think some of what plays into some of that though is the culture that's been established, right? I don't, we're not going to beat a dead horse talking about, anybody's decisions in particular, but when you have a culture in place that dictates that you get a certain type of player or a certain personality of player, that kind of limits the pool that you have to pick from.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what Steve is saying here. He says losing Diggs is like taking the attractive one out of the dating pool. The left overall look the same and feel okay until you see a real attractive one.
Steve is messing with what Diggs said yesterday in the press conference. Is kind of what he's doing.
What do you mean?
Because Diggs said he loves Houston and people there are nice. Blah. He said, I would never. What he said, I would never diss my ex-girlfriend to make my new girlfriend feel better.
Absolutely, right. And that's a good point. But I think what I was kind of using that to lead into was, I think that's where the sour taste that we're getting over last night is coming from. It's not just the trade that gave them Worthy. It's the fact that we have a much slower guy in Keon Coleman, and we don't have Stephon Diggs on this team as our number one receiver. Mm-hmm. There's a certain sense of security that you go into a game with when you got a guy that's done it before, 1,000 receiving yard seasons and whatever, however many touchdowns, like 100 plus catches. When you got a guy on your team and you're going into a game like that, there's a certain sense of security that you have like that with that. Mm-hmm. And when you look at what happened this season, not only do you lose the best receiver this franchise has ever had, but everybody else that you have is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And to bring the girlfriend reference in, it's like you got your rebound girl, and she's cool, great personality. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go to the movies. You don't have any bad times with her, but you don't quite have the feeling that you used to have walking through the mall with the hot one. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You don't get the goosebumps that you used to get when you had the hot one around. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you had a chance to get another hot one, and you fumbled the bag on that one. So now you watching that one walk around the mall with a new dude. It's that type of vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. But Laura ain't got no regrets. She said, I don't regret anything at this point. We haven't even played yet. I got to see how we look.
And the sad thing is that's exactly right. But to take it up another notch, we haven't seen them play when they were supposed to play. We haven't seen anything at all. Yeah. So this is our preseason. So like Matt was saying earlier, this is the cleanup game. I don't want a cleanup game. We're supposed to do it in the preseason.
Yeah. Did you hear what Sean said in the presser?
Oh no.
Somebody asked him about that. It's like, how do you feel going into the season now, week one, where your offense hasn't really played again? Sean was like, well, the offense did play, just not all together. Oh. Like, what? Are you kidding?
I thought you were gonna bring up that scrimmage he holds tight to.
Oh no!
Oh, we had a tough scrimmage. I'm like, man, that doesn't count. That does not count. God.
Yeah. So we can get into this part whenever you guys want, but I titled today's show 3 reasons the Bills have to win this game on Sunday, right? So whenever you guys want to get into that, we can. But
I want to talk about captains.
Yeah. Oh yes. Can we talk about captains?
Is that okay with you? All right.
Go into it.
Okay. Where shall I begin? So, 2 captains, huh? And we have a leadership council
of 10 players.
We got more captains.
We have 10 leaders and 2 captains.
2 captains on a roster of 46. Well, 53.
Yep. I found out something interesting about that though.
What'd you find out?
So I talked to my pops about this, right? And he said usually players don't value the captaincy the way that we think they do, or the way that we think franchises do. Like he said most of the time players look at it as that those are just the dudes that got to go in for the coin toss.
I think to me it's a first, so I agree. However, the degree of fanfare, not fanfare, but attention they're drawing to this thing, Josh and Terrell Bernard. What is Mac Hollins? Everybody talks about Mac Hollins as a leader. He's just a leader. He's just a leader. Dawson not just a leader. Just a leader. So what does that say about Von Miller and Deion Dawkins?
I'm going to get sick even saying this, but Deion Dawkins has been here since day one.
Well, I was going to say, what does that say about Deion Dawkins and Von Miller? The only two holdover captains from last year that lost their position. We had 8 of them last year. Everybody's going except for those two, and they're just. I ain't leading nothing. I'm a be over here. All right, Solomon, learn it on your own. Garage, you figure it out. Man, the mark. Sorry, I'm just a leader.
Right.
I ain't doing nothing. But I mean, what does that do for culture? And I mean, Von Miller. You say people they don't know Von, and I'm not saying I know Von. I've met Von. I've dealt with Von, but that's neither here nor there. That's not where I'm going with it. What I'm saying is somebody who's going to the Hall of Fame, somebody who has years and years of experience, somebody that's been at the top of the game for a long time. You just say, you know what? Now we're just doing away with that position. We're getting rid of all those captains. We're just going to do 2. And Von's like, I'm in Buffalo with a triangle on the back of my head. I'm preaching Zen. I have Javon Solomon. You partner with me. You re-signed up Vanessa. You got this. And you want me to be a leader? Nah, fam. Not good enough. Not good enough. And that's the kind of ego, not ego. Okay, the kind of attitude that Stephon Diggs had. Only he's more quiet about it.
Yep.
And for you to come here and say, Matakevich, you're gone. Diggs, you're gone. Who else is it? Whoever. You're all go. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. You're gone.
Trey White.
These 2 dudes, you're still on the team. However, your position's been eliminated.
Right. There's only 2 captains now.
What is that? Yeah. What is that?
Yeah. It really screams, what?
Roy Collins.
He says at least
that's why he lost the position.
Yeah, that's true too.
At least he finally didn't make any promises about getting players.
Right. No, that's a good point. At least we didn't have to deal with the lies. Well, probably because he knew they weren't going to be able to get anybody.
Right. They told him Von zip it.
Yeah. But I like who said so Lindsay says this week's game. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not talking about the game just yet. So the captaincy. So let me ask you this. What reason do you guys think Sean could have had for incorporating this particular system over what he's done before? And now, mind you, he's done something different pretty much every year.
Did you hear Sneaky Joe's take on it?
No.
He said he thinks that Josh Allen was named the sole captain now because Stephon Diggs is gone. And now he has to be a leader of men because Josh says, on record, I just want to be one of the guys. I'm one of the guys.
Yeah.
And he's saying this is Sean's way of making him a leader of men above all. And I mean, that's kind of counterintuitive based on what you said and what I know based on all the teams I've been on. Captaincy is, I don't care about you could ask me who the captain of most of my time. I don't know who they were.
Right.
Especially in basketball, ain't no coin toss. We didn't have season. It was what it was. We had a bunch of leaders. Everybody knew what they did. But no, I think Sneaky Joe's point, pep talks, this, that, and third, and how he went into town. He went into great detail about how even last night, if you watched it, well, I know you guys watched it more than I did. But Lamar Jackson, what was he doing at one point? He was on the sidelines rallying the troops. He was on this, they were all sitting out. He was in their faces, going back and forth, this, that, and third. But Sneaky Joe said, how many times have you seen Josh Allen sitting over there by himself and Stephon Diggs got to go pump him up? He said it's on radio. He's saying, yo, let's go. We got this. Let's do this thing. And McDermott saying, 200. He's like me, 258 mil. It's your team, man. Come on. Right. It's your team. Let's go.
Right. Steve has a question for you. He says, do you really think being traded down instead of up to draft a wide receiver because he knew he couldn't pay a number 1 round pick, that's sabotage?
I do think so. And I mean, how is it? It's not, it's not sabotage. I don't in the way I think you mean it. if you play Madden.
Mhm.
You play Madden, you get yourself into a salary cap hill, and you get yourself into a slump. You're like, dang, I ain't got the money to pay these freaking rookies. What am I gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
I got to make this work. So sabotage to me would be him making a way where he could justify not being able to pay a first round rookie. But in this instance, he got caught with his pants down. He was sitting there like, oh, I got to get Vaughn. I got to get Josh. Wait a minute, we ain't got no money. COVID happened. What are we gonna do? We're always so prepared. What are we gonna do?
Mhm.
I got to make this work, but I gotta figure out how to smooth this over, so that the fans don't really think about, oh man, we're in trouble.
Right.
We're in big trouble. We're in deep doo doo. So I think I wouldn't say sabotage. I think
You think this year is what that is? The whole transition year mantra that they got going on?
this is that soft soft reboot they say.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
kick rocks. You're in a
Right.
transition. You are in a rebuild right now
Right.
because you're lucky enough to have enough players that you can restructure.
40
Not
some
guys you
odd new
should.
players.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like basically half the team.
Half the team is brand new. What are you gonna say, Mel?
So with the whole captain thing, to me, it happens more than you think. Like in the military, we do it all the time. So honestly, my thing is, I think the players wanted it.
One of less captains.
Yeah, because again, like Coach Mitchell Pop said, they don't care about like that role is not as important as we think it is.
Yeah.
And I think they rather be leaders and just have two captains, one captain on offense, one captain on defense. Boom. So you got Josh and you got Bernard. Those leaders, I think they prefer that than to be a captain.
I like that because that would, well, I kind of like that for the wrong reasons. And Steve, you might be on board with me on this, but tell me what y'all think about this. Like, this is just a thought. I'm shooting a random thought, right? What if this is one of those quiet quitting things that people do?
I knew where this was going. I didn't know it was going to go there, but I knew where it was going to go somewhere.
It was going to go somewhere dark, right? What if?
Quit.
No. I mean, like, really think about it for a second, though. Like, if the players don't care about it, right? And I think that's a very good point. I think that's closer to truth and reality than anything else. If the players are kind of fed up with what the culture is doing right now, and they just want to play ball, they're like, look, I know what captains are required to do in this franchise. I don't want those problems anymore. So, you know what? Josh, you take it. Yeah. TB, you take it.
So I think it's more of a responsibility and basically like what are my roles and responsibilities are. Because to be honest, like the captains, like they do the coin toss and they do pressers and they talk, right? But leaders, you can do your own thing. Like Von Miller, like let's just say he's one of those leader councils. He could do his own thing and pull his own defensive line guys to the side. Like, hey, we're gonna do this. So we're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
Have your guys over here. Like, I think it gives them more accountability because they can have more freedom to operate the way they want to operate as being on a leadership council versus just being a captain.
Justin, we always had a leadership council. We always had 8 captains in leadership council. I mean, at this point, we were like, okay, Dawson Knox is a captain, Deion Dawkins, Von Miller, Russell Douglas, or whatever. And when we talked about Dawson Knox before, we talked about him being a captain. You said no because he's not vocal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like Mel in a sense where nobody even ever cares. Just when they voted Gabe, I thought that was I said it on the show. I thought that was BS. Like they ain't vote for no freaking Gabe. He didn't even expect the thing.
Right.
That means nobody talks to him. It means nobody asks him any questions. But somehow he's a captain and nobody cares. So guess what? That to me, that tells me right there all you need to know about captaincy.
But I did ask because Roy,
yeah, for sure.
Roy is asking what is it the team captains actually do anyway, right? So for those of you that don't know, when I say my pops, I'm talking about Demaryius Johnson. He actually played for the Dolphins and the Bills, so he knows what goes on in the locker room and stuff. But what he said was, to some degree, captains are responsible for the dissemination
Mm-hmm.
of information from the coaches, right? Mm-hmm. So if there's something that the coaches need to get to the players, they go and talk to the captains, whatever, right? And that's why I really like what you said, because if there are players in that locker room that don't want to have to do that or don't want to deal with that anymore, I just don't want to be a captain then. Go, you know what I mean? Like, Josh, you do it. You supposed to be, they want you to do it anyway. TB, my man. And I think when I heard Terrell Bernard was a captain, I wasn't mad, but I was more so thinking, He's only been on the team what 2-3 years.
It made
Tops?
sense to me though. It made a lot of sense to me though. 'cause
Well,
he's
just
a
from
green
the
dot guy.
standpoint of his position.
Yeah, the green dot. That's what it was.
Right,
Captain,
yeah.
the
No,
quarterback of the defense.
Totally get
Yeah.
that. But like you said, when you got guys like Vaughn and Deion Dawkins and even Dawson Knox, who's been here, like those should be the guys that get the captaincy just based off the fact that they've been there, part of this culture, and they're like, if you're trying to reestablish that culture, that same culture that you've been building since 2017, those are the guys to do it, unless they don't want to do it.
Right. Right. So like, and it's like in the military, we got councils, right? So like there's a top 3 councils. So the 3 highest ranks, top 3. Then we got a junior NCO council. Then we got the rising 6. So the 6th rank. So basically these councils, what they meet about, they talk about changes and how they want to incorporate within the, let's say within the team. And then basically, they'll disseminate those informations up the chain. So what I mean by when I say like the leadership council, so for example, like I remember the movie Remember the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Remember he was like, hey, Bertier went to Denzel, was like, yo, listen, we got a problem with everything. He's like, well, you the captain, it's on you. So he said, hey, you're not starting, he's starting. You're still on the bench. What you doing? He's the captain, that's his responsibility. He makes those moves, makes those changes. But what again, I'm not saying this is correct, but what I'm thinking with that leadership council is they have more opportunity. They can do more within the leadership council than versus the captaincy.
I think the leadership council, the easiest way to put it is the most senior person in the room. So the running back room, whoever that is, the wide receivers, whoever that is, linemen, whoever, and that is so on and so forth. So I can probably tell you, Dawson Knox is going to be one.
Yep.
We'll
Deion Dawkins.
We'll say Ty Johnson, I think, because he has more than James Cook. Curtis Samuel, or no, Matt Collins. I'm sorry. Linebacker wise, what's that?
Von Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Linebacking wise would have been Milano, but probably Nick Moreau. Cornerbacks and safeties is going to be.
I'm sorry, real quick on Nick Morrow. I saw in fantasy he's supposed to be starting in Dorian Williams' spot. I know that's not true because I went and checked, but like that's weird.
I think Dorian Williams is going to have an incredibly short leash.
I think so too.
I think he's an incredibly short leash.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm sorry, back to what you were saying.
No, I was going to say, in the back end, it's probably going to be Russell Douglas. So
Steve says leadership council equals McDermott snitches in this process.
Yeah, you said that many times. You said
absolutely. That's for those of you that don't know. I'll real quick. So one of the things that my sources told me from inside the building was there were certain players that and again, this is back in like 2017 through 2021, right? Sean had a system where there were certain players that he would put into locker rooms that were the more tenured players, or basically whoever was down to do it, but they would kind of be like den mothers in a sense where, he would encourage players to kind of go out and report back to him what players were doing, at parties that they would go to, or, whatever they were doing outside of the building. He would try to get as much information as he could about what guys were getting into so that he can kind of keep his thumb on the pulse of everything that was happening. Obviously that's something that players were uncomfortable with, and very few, players, wanted to do that. But when you're faced with a situation of you either do that or you're not on the team, you're gonna see certain players feel like they have to do it, and that actually happened for a while. I imagine part of the reason that this captaincy situation is playing out the way that it has now is partially due to that as well. That's why I can say, my theory of, maybe the players are kind of tired of what this culture has done to the team in terms of things like that, where you've got built-in snitches on the team that are reporting back to the coaches what guys are doing in their personal time. That really is none of the coach's business unless they're getting arrested and stuff like that, in which case everybody's going to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's what I was talking about, and that's what Steve is talking about.
Yeah. I touched on it before, but I saw something else. Buffalo fans, I don't know if you know what you're getting in Keon Coleman. Did you guys see the YouTube short that I think came out a couple of days ago or something like that, where they showed him and some of the other rookies and newbies, Mac Hollins too, Buffalo fans. Did you see that? It was on YouTube. Well, anyway,
when he like the comparison between the first week of preseason and like signing autographs.
No. It was just showing the Rabbit fan base. It was showing the tailgate coaches showing this and they had Pinto Ron on there.
Okay.
Ketchup and mustard man. Keon Coleman was stuck like he was like what? He was not amused at all. You could tell. He was not amused. He thought it. Mac Hollins was like, what is that? Like, how does he get clean? And Keon Coleman was like, yo, that mustard. But if y'all love it, whatever. He was like, that mustard is wild. You know. And
wait. I'm sorry, real quick. Have y'all heard about the Buffalo Pepsi
with the blue cheese brim?
What is the deal with that
at the stadium?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you heard about the 2-foot battle boat, right?
No.
That's going to be. I want guys. If you're going to the games this year, I want to know what the 2-foot battle boat is every game. What it is basically. You hear about it now? Well, okay, you didn't. So what it is they have what is it? It's like waffle fries in the middle or something like that. And on one side, it's going to be a Buffalo staple. So they're going to do like a Lovejoy theme one. They're going to do Allentown or whatever it is theme one. They're going to do just different neighborhoods in their food. So this one I think they're doing Polish. So they got pierogies and something else was like a broken down pierogi
on one side or
on
both
one
sides?
side. But on the other side, they're going to get the other teams like what they're known for.
Okay.
So every week they're going to have whatever they're known for. So this week I forget what they said it was for Arizona, but I want people to tell me every game in the comments in the community. The after the party is after party in the community. Tell me what you ate and how to make your stomach feel, because I got to know.
Oh, so this is stuff that the concession stands will be selling.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
This is similar to what the Sabres used to do. So the Sabres will have different themed hot dogs.
Yep.
So let's say Chicago's playing, they'll have a Chicago themed hot dog.
Yeah.
Whatever coming there, they'll have that themed hot dog, and they will just do that for hot dogs. So this is their spin on it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the whole Buffalo Pepsi thing threw me off. Like with blue cheese on the rim and all that. Like, what? Have you tried it?
No.
I can't do it. You will never catch me. I don't care how. You might have to get me drunk first, so that I just don't remember that I did that. Because I feel like
itself.
Because it takes a lot. still, that I still can't believe. I tell people this all the time. Like, you watched me before at Buffalo Wild Wings have 2 Long Islands, and
we were good.
I was chilling.
We were good.
Right. So I don't understand what it is. Anyway, but yeah, I can't imagine drinking a Buffalo Pepsi and not throwing up immediately after.
The only thing I can think of is like when you smashing some wings and you dunking it up and you drinking your Pepsi right after you got that blue cheese residue on your lips.
Yep.
Only that's the closest thing I think of. Yep. And even that's toned down. So
do you think that's how they found out about it? Like somebody was drinking a Pepsi.
It's probably Pinto Ron.
But, oh my gosh.
I don't even drink pop anymore. But I remember when I was little, though, I used to experiment with pop all the time.
Yes.
Like, you know what's really good? If you take squirt, add some salt.
Add some salt to
It's
squirt.
It's hitting. My man used to do with the Pepsi, he used to add milk to Pepsi.
Yo.
What?
Yes.
Yo.
He used to do milk to Pepsi. And there was something else we used to do that tasted good. But yeah, we used to always mix and match with the drinks.
And your sons are still alive. Congratulations, fellas. Congratulations. I'm glad you guys got rock stomachs. You ready for college already?
That sounds like some college stuff.
To this day, if I ever get like a Slurpee or a smoothie at like 7-Eleven, I never get one flavor. I always gotta mix it.
You gotta mix them.
I gotta mix it.
See, I got that from down south. Like they call it bug juice, where you just
start putting everything in there.
Yeah, and I every time I go to the movie theater with my wife, I always do that. And our favorite thing is I'll do a whole mix. And then she'll take a sip and she'll try to guess everything that I put in there. It's a cool little game we got, but like I don't think anybody should ever just get one flavor of anything. I stand by it. Unless I absolutely have to, I cannot just get one flavor of anything.
I don't want
It's
no
not-
drinking. What's
Right.
the ratio? I don't care.
I go to Moe's and they got the little machine in there that they have. Yeah, I just start hitting. They got that. Okay, I'm putting that in there.
5 flavors on there. He's like mixing them all.
of this,
Right,
a little bit
right.
of that, a little bit of this.
He's got a
I don't
little-
care about any pressure behind me. A whole line of people waiting to get their drinks. Listen, I'm not done yet. Give me 1
Like,
second.
you want some too?
Right.
You want some? All right.
And then I put that cup down. Oh, I'm sorry. I just got to get something for my wife. And I start doing a whole nother concoction. But yeah. So Laura says, OMG Long Island's LOL. Too many crazy nights off those.
I'll make those. Big time.
Laura said, we call mixing pops kamikazes. It sounds like fun.
Well, kamikazes mixing alcohol. But yeah, anyway.
Steve says, I really admire how you guys can live in Buffalo and not let the fans around you shift your objectivity.
You know what?
It's a skill.
It is a skill.
It's a skill.
It is a skill. And the funny thing is, believe it or not, and I'm going to throw Mac under the bus, the element that we were missing on this show was what Mac brings. He brings
No
that
doubt.
fandom. Mac is like the most, I don't want to insult you and say the most fanatic fan we out of the three of us, but
He's diehard.
I just love football, man.
Yeah.
Football that's my thing. I remember playing football since I was 5, like avidly. Like I never miss a season. Like I love football. It's the greatest sport in the world.
Okay.
100%.
So anyway,
Even better than basketball.
okay. So the show is over now. Judy. But I also wanted to touch on the fact that, like I said, with Keon Coleman, Mac Hollins was disgusted by the catch of mustard too.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was like,
such a
The
waste.
feet guy.
right, huh?
The feet guy.
He was like,
Yeah, I can't walk through
he's
that.
probably sitting like, catching the mustard on my feet. Nah, that's a no. I gotta wear socks on that at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
Ruin my connection to the earth.
disconnected. He plays like garbage. I think people need to understand that Keon Coleman is Keon Coleman. He's not a personality. He's not a soundbite. I said this already. I'm going to keep saying it.
That's who he is.
He's not going to give you the yellow jacket and cookies every time you hear him. It might happen one time or other, but for the most part, he cares about ball. I get that from him. I get that wholeheartedly. He cares about football. He wasn't joking.
I love that, but I'm also fearful for his sake.
That's why I keep saying this.
Yeah, because it's like you can see him slowly but surely being disgusted with what he's seeing in terms of the way the fans are, the culture in the building. It's like he came from an atmosphere of an elite mindset in terms of preparing for the game, mastering his craft and all that kind of stuff, into a place where there's so many and this is the NFL in general. Let's be real. It's not just Buffalo, but when players come into the league and they see that there's so much of what happens behind the scenes that's political and placating to certain types of people, and when I say types of people, I mean, fans. Like they right. Teams are going to cater to the people they believe are their main fan base. But that's hard to deal with if you're a real person like Keon, and I'll even throw Steph Diggs in there. You know what I mean? Because very few people can come to Buffalo and not eventually put on the fake face like a Deion Dawkins and even a Von Miller. They come in here and they say the right stuff and they smile and they deal with everything, and it doesn't seem like it bothers them. But I'm sure to some degree behind the scenes, they're like, yo, this city's fake. Is you know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to call the city fake, but like to some
outsiders,
degree,
it could be. It could perceive that.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like I sent you that text message that I think I might have sent it to you too. I'm not sure, but it was Josh Allen doing this Josh Allen thing where he's going online with all his handshakes. Yeah. Keon Coleman didn't care. He had the weakest handshake out of all of them. And it kept on going.
Yeah.
He was not interested. He wasn't engaged at all. Yeah. He's doing it because it's like, I'm the rookie. I have to.
Right. What I like about Keon Coleman though is they said that like he is like you said, he's still all about ball. So like they say he's Dawson Knox and Kincaid was like, yo, he's always popping in the tight end room. Like, yo, what y'all think about this play? What y'all see here? What y'all see there? So I think depending on how his year go out, well, I'm not going to say that. No matter how the year is going to go out, he's going to turn into that player who's always going to be prepared, who's always going to be looking at film, who's always going to be on the next step, thinking how he can be better. Like he's always going to try to get better.
He's going to be next year's Shakir.
So I'm excited to see what Keon Coleman do. But the only thing that I don't like is for forever he's always going to be linked to
exactly
Worthy and Diggs.
Yep.
Yeah.
until they leave and fall off, or until he just either he supersedes them or falls off or whatever. But they'll always be compared. Those three will always be in the same conversation because of the stuff that we went through to how they got to their team, the respective teams.
Do you think that that's justified or fair for Keon, or do you think that that's something that we need to kind of work to get rid of ourselves?
It's tough because as fans, they'll never let it go. It's never going to let it go. Like people still compare Allen to Mahomes, or well, what if back then? You know what I'm saying? They still doing that to them, and they already separate wavelengths. They're both great. They're both elite players, but they still get those. Well, what if this and what if that? So I think for Keon, it's not fair for him that he's got to do it, but it's one of those things where it comes with the territory.
Yeah,
Buffalo,
like you were the top wide receiver drafted by the Bills while this was going on. So whether you like it or not, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be able to like still focus on what he's doing because too, like we kind of talked about it. They're two different type of players, right? So like Xavier, like to me, Xavier Worthy, like I don't not like the dude, but he didn't really impress me yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like that sweep, that was a good play.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you got speed. Like that's gonna happen.
But that busted coverage, you're right. It wasn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dude, he pushed him off. He thought he had safety help. And he was like, oh, okay, he's wide open, right? Like if Keon Coleman did that, it was like, oh, well, and nobody was checking him. You know what I'm saying? So like, like I said, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I'm not like all on like, oh yeah, we made a mistake. He's the man. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is for example, like if Keon Coleman don't get 2 touchdowns or he don't get that, it doesn't mean that, oh, well, we got the wrong wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? They're two different type of players.
Right.
I see Keon Coleman as a bigger player, supposed to be better in the red zone, big body catches, stuff like that. So it depends on how the organization use them. Now, if we don't use them right, then that's a failing organization.
True.
Not on Keon Coleman.
I go as far as to add in Xavier Legette too.
Legette.
I add him in there as well because if Legette shows something, they were like, because that was another person the Bills really wanted.
Oh, because he went right after.
We traded that pick away. We had that pick. We gave that to Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think I think those 3. But yeah, you're right. That they'll probably if he like pops off, then they'll put that in the conversation.
Because the Bills fans wanted Legette. They wanted him. That was the guy that everybody was like, oh, we got to get that guy. You know, I was a Ladd
McConkey fan. In press conferences, they didn't care about his football talent. That's all they wanted, bro.
I wanted to hear him too. Yeah, I ain't that country. I just like to talk like this. I don't think I'll be. When he says his last name, Xavier Legette, like Legette.
yeah. I'd be pissed if I was Legette. Like I come here and everybody just goo-guying over my accent.
Right.
Like
could you imagine?
Y'all can go down to wherever he's from, but you can go down south and hear that whenever you feel like.
Could you imagine him and Leotis McKelvin on the same team?
Yo,
let's do it.
Nobody would understand that conversation.
They would. They would.
Yeah, they would. They'd be talking for days. But real quick, Steve's got a few questions, but I really want to get to this one in particular real quick. All right, so Steve says, if this team is doing a mini tank, his words, not mine. He said, why aren't we firing McDermott and wasting time?
Because Pagula believes McDermott can right the ship again.
You agree with that?
I think if you get rid of McDermott, how much longer does it take to get back on track to where we're a playoff caliber team where we're competing in the Super Bowl?
Bingo. I think that's Pagula's mindset when it comes to dealing with this type of situation. He's watched Sean go through 2017 transition, roster surgery, and all that stuff. And it took them 2 years to get to 2020 where they were an elite team.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I think if I'm the owner, all right, go ahead, put some more talent back on this team, build this team up because you did a good job the first time. And then if you're still not performing and you're still going, getting, to divisional round exits and stuff like that at that point, well, then now I can bring another coach in to work with a team that's still pretty good at that point, and I'll still have Josh Allen. So I think, to answer that question, that's my thought on it. George E. Pierce Sr., welcome to the show, my man. Let's get to this question real quick. He says, how does Keon run interference when he isn't targeted?
I think as long as he's on the field, he'll run some type of interference because, like, if you don't, put it this way, let's say they double team somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
He's got one-on-one coverage. So if he wins that coverage, he might be getting the ball. Let's just say, for example, he's in a situation where he can make a play. Like, I think him being on the team, period, like he's a weapon because you don't know what to expect. There's no tape on him. Like, you got college tape, but there's no tape on him for the NFL. So you don't know what he can do or what he can't do yet. So I think by him being on there, it's just like, ooh, like defense is going to have to be like, they got to respect him until he proves otherwise.
Right. See what you got.
No, I agree. I mean, that's kind of where I am with it. Everything else that I agree.
Okay. I think in terms of Keon's performance this season, what I think really needs to happen first before he can run interference is he's got to establish dominance on the playground. You have to give him the opportunity to show that he can run interference, right? And I think that's got to look like throwing a slant and him running for another 30 after that because people can't tackle him because he's too big and too strong. Or you got to give him a 50-50 ball down the field to make a play on.
Let him jump up and grab it.
Exactly.
See, that's the thing I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of, 50-50 ball downfield. I mean, that was technically what they typecasted him as, but we just got rid of that guy because that wasn't really his game. And I think Keon Coleman has way more to offer than that.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid they're going to do the same thing they did with 13 last year. They're going to do it with 0 this year. And I think it's a disservice. Again,
run nines and out
run
routes.
nines and stuff.
I think he'll have a more elaborate tree, but I do see what Keyshawn's saying. Like, you don't want him to turn him into that.
Yes.
Just because he might be able to do it, but that's not what that's not what his game is. Don't make him that guy.
I don't want him to do that continuously. I'm just thinking in terms of you have to show teams that he can make a big play.
You know what
I'm saying? Like, and it's like it's the equivalent of you. And I don't know this personally. I've never been, but you go to jail. And what do they tell you all every time? You find the biggest dude in there,
punch him in the face,
and you punch him in the face.
I wasn't going to say that, but that's fine. That's fine.
But you,
right?
That's it, right? And that's what I think they need to do with Keon is they need to give him the opportunity to punch the biggest dude in the face to show that teams got to respect him when he's on the field, whether it's blocking, whether it's whatever. If he's on the field, he's a play waiting to happen.
We're talking about McDermott here, and that's the problem. We're talking about McDermott. They say we want to put players in the best position to win. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You've proven over and over and over again. You want to put players that make your system the best it could be. You don't care about what that player's good at, even though you say you do.
It's coach's culture, not players' culture.
Right. And the guys that believe in that mantra that players should be in a position that they can win in, they're not here anymore.
Right.
It goes hand in hand. And that goes into what I was going to say about, I forget who it was that said it, but this mantra they were talking about now, Diggs is going again. Everybody eats and it's my turn. No, that's not how we win. That kind of attitude is not ever going to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't care who you put out there. We want a turn. No, Rex Ryan said it was, or no, was it Rex or was it who was it? It was his turn. Rex Ryan.
It was Rex.
Yeah. It was his there. No, earn your ish. Beat your man off the line. Whatever you do, offensive line, a wide receiver tight end. Beat your man. Make him look silly. Get the ball. Make a play. That's how you. I want to play with that attitude. And to say it again, build a bully. You want Keon Coleman to that short intermediate drag and carry somebody for another 5 or 8 yards. You want somebody that's like, you don't want somebody that's 6'4", 210 pounds to run nines all day long. I'm tired of them saying you got to get to the red zone in order to use a red zone threat, correct? What is this red zone threat that Keon Coleman going to do when nobody else can get him to the red zone?
Well,
that's my thing.
They're going to defer to Josh.
He's going to
end up with 15 rushing touchdowns again.
Get him cracked up.
Yeah.
Also, this is my weekly rant that Mel went on.
Go for it.
I'm so tired of hearing about people talking about the backup quarterback sucks. So this time,
until it's Mike White, then it won't suck.
No, I'm talking about Mike White as well. Well, he sucked too, evidently. But this is the thing. You guys, Mel, you were a fan since 5. I've been a fan since 7. You're not far after 9 or so. And what happened to shift the paradigm of the backup quarterback? I'll give you interest of time. I will give you the answer. 2011 CBA happened. Before 2011, what did they do? They had 2-a-days, 3-a-days.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in 2011? How do you get your number 2 reps?
Oh,
You only have
don't.
one
Yeah,
practice.
You don't anymore.
You don't.
It don't happen.
So I did a little research because I was
To be fair though, Peyton Manning never let his backup take reps.
Josh Allen never let his either.
Yeah.
Talking about that 10.
Well, yeah, but it's
Talking about that 10. But this is the kick. I did some numbers. Last year, the league's best backup quarterback was Jake Browning. Number 2 was Tyrod Taylor. Okay. All time, the most successful backup quarterback was Mike Tomczak. He played from 85 until 90 something or other.
Steelers?
Steelers, yeah.
And somebody else. I
He
think
played another team.
somebody else too. But
why do I know backups? I know backups from that era
because
they were
they were good. They were holders.
Well,
they did stuff.
Yeah.
There was also the controversy of I think Cordell Stewart at the time had gotten hurt, and that's how Tomczak ended up coming in. Is that right?
Wasn't it
Neil O'Donnell?
Was it Neil O'Donnell and then Cordell Stewart? Because Cordell Stewart was slash because he was punting and doing everything.
Yeah,
it was Hostetler and yeah.
Yep.
So Tomczak came in for who then?
I don't remember.
Tomczak, like I said, he was. I mean, I could look it up. It's not that big of an issue. But
You know who Tomczak reminded me of though is Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Similar dudes in terms of like the way they played, a little bit of swagger they had,
about
like
the same size too.
Huh?
About the same size too.
Yeah.
But career backup, Chase Daniel, eat your heart out. Vince Evans, 18 years.
What?
Played from 1977 to 1995 as a backup. Now, for Buffalo Bills nostalgia, the best backups of all time, who do you think it was?
Frank Wright, baby.
Nope.
What?
It wasn't
How is
Frank.
that possible?
It wasn't Frank.
Nope.
He held an NFL record for how long?
James Harris was the 4th overall ranked backup quarterback.
By who?
And Frank Wright was 27th.
By who?
Not just Buffalo.
Oh.
This is
I thought you said for Buffalo. That's why I said Frank Wright.
well, James Harris was the Buffalo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, James Harris is Buffalo, then Frank Wright. But
What
Frank
year-
Wright was
what-
27th all time in the merger, since merger,
Oh, okay.
as a backup.
Okay.
Are they going by like what
Stats, wins?
What year did he play?
Who's that? James Harris?
Yeah.
70s. And,
I wasn't watching that.
Nope.
Yeah, no, we didn't watch
I wasn't born yet.
But James Harris, but no,
No
you know-
way we could have known that.
But this is the story about James Harris. James Harris, if I'm not mistaken, was the quarterback that they tried to make a wide receiver because he was black.
Really?
They tried to make him a wide receiver because he was fast and he was black. So it didn't work, but they kind of kept him off the field.
Gotcha.
It was during that era. Kellen Clemens is the only backup quarterback who played a considerable amount of time under the new CBA. He was ranked 62nd. So that tells you 61 other quarterbacks ahead of him never played past the 2011 CBA. How are you supposed to be good?
Somebody at the network said Bubby Brister.
Bubby Brister.
Yeah.
But how are you supposed to be good
Right.
when you don't get to practice?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. Like you bring in Mike White, which, like I said, before we had Trubisky, fine. But we already got a guy, and that's why I say, he's good, but he's not going to get a chance to be any better if Josh goes down, unless Josh goes down and he has a full week or two of practice with the guys.
Right.
And it's a slippery slope.
Right. Nowadays, your best backup quarterbacks was prior starters.
Yeah.
And that's why Trubisky to me was, because I
Yeah.
looked at his numbers. I'm like,
Yeah.
he was a Pro Bowler. He was this, and he
Right.
still sucks.
Right.
So what did I tell you about everybody else?
Right.
What did I tell you about everybody else?
Right.
It's not because they
We're not
lost
gonna do
talent.
this again. Like,
No,
I've
I'm not
heard
going
other people say Mike White right now is a better backup than Mitch.
I'm not going to go into depth, but my point
Okay.
was just the overarching thing when people say the number 2 quarterback sucks.
Right.
No, it's Sherlock.
Right.
right. He's
right.
supposed to.
He's
Why is he
supposed
be a
to.
starter? Right.
That's funny you brought that up because I could name like decent backups like in the 90s, like that was good,
Yeah.
like because they played and they were
played.
there.
Yep.
These
Yep.
guys they don't have the same
They don't-
opportunity.
No, they just shuffle around, practice squad, call them up, whatever. I don't
Yep.
care. It's disposable. That's why you see all these 1-year contracts. And the last thing I had real fast, did I have anything? No, I think I'm good. I just wanted to bring into the fact that I remember going to the training camps for the 2-a-days.
Mhm.
In Fredonia, that's when I saw Yano Jourdain. That's when I saw Russell Copeland, my guy.
Russell Copeland,
Russell
85.
Copeland, yeah,
That's my dude.
that's when I saw Kerry Bender, the little running back. That's when I
Yeah.
saw these guys. I remember my mom taking me up there. I remember riding in the back of my uncle's 92 Grand Regal. Yes, he had one just like I had one, but his was red on red. Mine was white on red. It's whatever.
Ooh, he has
Taylor's
red over
picture.
red.
but I had my game gear. It was happening. That that's just the climate of the league now. So I don't know. And it's something that they gotta refigure. When you're going 18 games now, there's more propensity to get hurt. They're gonna probably go 19 games, or 19 weeks.
17 games, 18 weeks.
19 weeks.
So they're talking about next year. They want to do
2 preseasons.
Well, not just that, but every team. Well, yeah, that would mean they have to go 19 weeks and 18 games. But what goes in line with that is the league also wants every team to play at least one out of country game.
Right. Not in Brazil, or not in wherever it's the Jets and Philly too. That was just dumb.
Yeah. But
because the Brazil game is today.
Yes. Yeah. What do you guys think about that game? I think Green Bay versus Philly. Right?
Yeah. I mean, for safety concern, I think it's foolish. But I mean, I don't care to watch it. I can't anyway.
In terms of what, playing in Brazil?
Just a danger level.
Just area. So the problem is they didn't pick like the touristy part or like a nice part of Brazil. Like they kind of playing like, to be frank, like in the hood. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
they're playing in the Compton of Brazil.
Yeah.
And then here's what
that's really Compton-y.
And here's what I don't understand. When you set up something this big, you're gonna go through all your wickets. Like you're gonna make sure you're gonna dot all your I's and cross all your T's. How did they not know that the rival team of that place wears green? Mm-hmm. Why would the NFL pick two green teams to play there, knowing that their rivals are green? So they say, "Yo, can y'all switch out jerseys?" Like, we can't do that
unless you letting us. We know your rules.
So like that is just. I think the planning was just sloppy. They were just too greedy, trying to make money, trying to get that exposure real quicker the better. Yeah. Get the exposure out without really planning and properly planning to get it happening in a better way. Because like I heard that one team got a 2-hour bus ride to get there, the other team's got a 20-minute ride to get there. Like it's crazy, man.
Wow.
They're really trying to push this worldwide, which I don't know, man. I don't know if it's good. Like there's a couple countries that are interested, but trying to push it on that world level, I don't know. It's gonna take a while because everybody's not. A lot of people like cricket, dude.
They
go crazy on cricket. I found out 10
I could watch cricket. Man. I sat down on my birthday and watched it about 2 hours. And I was not drunk.
That joint is interesting, bro.
I will not take that joy from you. I think the NFL at this point has seen that they are king here, and the only thing that could be better than being king here is being king all over the world.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I get that for sure. Right. I get it for sure. But I just think that was a foolish move to go, like you said, to Brazil.
Yeah, Right. To some degree, I think they had to add that in as a step towards what they want to do next year, right? Because if they just went into this season with the same places that they played last year, might seem a little dull, right? But now you get 2 opening week games, Thursday and Friday, right? You get the first Friday game that we've had in the first week of the season, or even in the first usually they don't do Friday games until after week 10. If they absolutely have to.
Yeah. You know what they should have? I just thought about it. What? This is what they should have did. They should have went to every city that they used to have an NFL Europe in. They should have went to Rhine. They should have went to Frankfurt. They should have went to Berlin. They should have went to Barcelona. They should have went to Auto, because they already know that they like football. They had teams here. That's what they should have did.
That's a good point.
And I think, in my opinion, it's just me. I think they'll never usurp soccer. They'll never do it.
No,
never.
Never. Even King talks about, you mean, why y'all call it football? It's not football. I like this football. I'm like, you don't like no football. Get out of here.
That to me is always going to be the world's #1 sport across the globe, is going to be soccer. Like,
yeah, it's too big.
Yeah, it's way too big.
Yep. All right.
So you want to move on to the game?
Huh?
You want to move on to the game, or you got some other stuff?
Let's get to the game. I'm out of stuff.
I just got a quick shout out.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Can we shout out Jessica Pegula? She is going to the finals in the U.S. Open tomorrow.
She had a big comeback, too.
Yo, she never made it past the semifinals.
Wow.
And she beat the top person. She beat the woman that's rated #1. She beat her, and now she's got to play #2 tomorrow.
She was getting worked over and came back. She was about to get mollywopped, but she came back on.
I want to say she lose 6-1.
Yes,
and then came back.
Mhm.
she lost. Yeah, she was down on both sets.
Yeah.
The first 2 sets she was down big,
Yeah.
and then she just turned it around.
So she got the furthest she ever got to. And people, the superstitions, I'm not superstitious. Y'all know I'm not superstitious, but people were saying, "Oh man, if Jessica Pegula, she's going this far."
She broke the drought.
Right?
She broke the.
This is
Like,
Josh Allen's 7th year. He wears 1-7. Like things are going to happen. I'm like,
This
yeah,
is
we'll
no,
see.
you know what? This is the same dude that told us about the color scheme of the Super Bowls. I'm out of here.
Right?
Man.
But
However, one thing I want to say though, my man Pete Schrags,
Mhm.
he has been right 5 years in a row.
Who did he
And
pick?
he scares me. He picks who in the beginning of the season. He picks who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh wow.
He's been right 5 years in a row since 2019. He's been right.
Who did he say? Well, how hard has that been though?
Kansas City.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But no, think about it. So in 19, it was Kansas City, but in
Mhm.
2020, it was Tampa Bay.
Right, but Brady just went there
He
that
said,
year.
"My man
The team
Tommy."
was already loaded.
And then he hit the Rams.
That's a much better
Right?
pick.
He nailed that one.
Yeah.
And then of course, like the last two, okay, yeah, easy.
Right.
But
right.
he kind of pissed me off because he picked the Chiefs again.
This year?
Yes. But that 3P has never happened in NFL history.
I
I
think
know.
it will this year, man.
Now,
do.
I am a analytics dude and history, blah, blah, blah. It's never happened before, too. But guess what? Last year, there never been an overtime in the Super Bowl. And what did we have last year?
Things happen. That's the thing.
Right?
Rules and stats are meant to be broken. So yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, at
Yep.
some point it's got to happen.
Exactly.
Just so y'all know, Roy says, watch out. Pickleball is surging.
That's why I laughed. Pickleball is surging.
Pickleball
Yo,
is surging.
I played that last week. That joint is kind of fun.
We played it in high
You
school.
never played it?
Mm-mm.
That's kind of fun. It's a combination of tennis and ping pong.
Oh,
Yeah, they put the
Yes.
nets low and it's a wiffle ball with a little ping pong paddle.
so it's like old people tennis. Basically.
no, it's a wiffle ball.
No?
This thing
Bro,
moves.
It's
It's not
so,
badminton.
So like I don't know, like I had to learn how to play ping pong on my deployment in Afghanistan, right?
Okay.
Bro, the backspin they put on that joint,
Oh,
be
yeah.
nasty.
Mhm.
Now
Yeah.
they doing that in the pickleball.
Oh, for real?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
a
fun.
wiffle ball.
It's fun.
It's a wiffle ball. So you know how wiffle ball, you make that thing do crazy tricks. You
Are
know how to spin
the paddles got like some sort of felt or rubber or something like that on it? No?
They can, but yeah,
Yep.
actually, yeah, they do. They
Yep.
do.
So
Wow.
they look like a big ping pong paddle. Like they're not like net
Yeah.
like the tennis ball rackets are. They're like more of a ping pong paddle, but it's bigger.
So
Yeah,
it's just big. It's like you're standing on a ping pong
Yep.
table.
Pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah. And then the ball,
Interesting.
like Keyshawn said, it's the wiffle ball. So it got the holes in it. So like it moves funny. It doesn't move like
Yeah.
a regular ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's fun, though. It's
a lot of
definitely fun.
Wow. Wow.
So
All
yeah,
right.
going into week 1, Arizona Cardinals.
723. Just so y'all know.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, Cole Bishop, Quentin Morris, Curtis Samuel, Javon Solomon, Mitch Trubisky all show up on injury report. Good to know that Javon Solomon is the only one that didn't participate. Everybody else is a full participant. Let's see, 1:00 game on Sunday, as we know, September 8th, Highmark Stadium. Vegas has Bills minus 6.5. Over under was 47.5. What say you, Mel? Where are you putting the money at?
Listen, do you know what the over or under was where the Ravens and Chiefs game?
6.5.
Well, no, what the over under was not the line. the
Oh,
total.
over under 47.5.
It was 46.5.
46.5.
It was 47.
So, wait, what?
So the score for the Chiefs and Ravens game, Vegas set it at 46.5. They
It
got
ended up being
47.
47.
Yes. So a lot of people want to take the under.
Mm-hmm.
They got burned by the half a point.
Wow.
How does Vegas know? Like they right on it, man.
They push
Yeah.
the button. Injuries like chicken nuggets.
They right on it.
Wow,
Stop it.
They calculate things we don't think to calculate, man.
Yeah.
Like they got a room full of people that just think about this stuff.
And they take and the things that we don't look at, they look at.
100%. Yeah, his dog just died, man. I don't think he's gonna have it in this game.
I don't know.
I would take the under though. 47.5. I would take the under.
Yeah, I think that tight end, man, that visit to the doctor he had with that hamster stuck up his butt, man, like that had to be really embarrassing. I don't think he's gonna do great in this game.
So 2023 leaders for Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, obviously the top passer. Trey McBride was their leading receiver.
Yes.
James Conner was their leading rusher.
Yep.
Let's see. Out of the last 5 matches, we won 3. We're 7-5 all time against Arizona Cardinals. Let's see. Where are we in terms of Arizona's injuries? Tip Raymond, which is their rookie tight end. He's limited with an ankle. Xavier Weaver, Mr. wide receiver. They had high regard for Xavier Weaver, mostly because they have nobody else besides Marvin Harrison.
No, they got Wilson. Don't say that.
He didn't participate. Well, Weaver's the one that they really had high hopes for.
Okay.
He didn't participate with an oblique, so he may not play on Sunday.
He's out.
Is he out now?
He's out
officially. Okay, good.
He's out.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
well, I mean, Wilson is a good player, man. He started to come on late last season. He's their number 2 receiver right now. I think he's a good player. I don't want to sell their skill players short. They have good skill players. I think their defense is going to have a hard time stopping us. And that's not to say that I think our offense is going to be dominant. I hope it is, but we don't know anything about our team right now. We haven't, you know what I mean? We've just seen preseason, and like, this is the other thing too. I've heard other people say, yeah, the Steelers are having a tough situation with their quarterback because Russell Wilson is injured now and Justin Fields is probably going to end up starting, but that team sucks and they're not going to do this and that and this and the other thing. Well, what happened to the preseason pledge, baby?
Like, I took it. Card carrying member.
Like, what happened to teams don't show you what they really are in the preseason? Yeah. How is it that the people are looking at the Bills and saying, oh, they'll be fine because we didn't see anything in the playoffs or whatever, but a team like the Steelers is not going to be?
I think that's more because they have brand new players at the most important position and they don't know how they're going to play there. I think that's where that's stemming from.
Yeah, but when you have a head coach that has never had a losing season, like he's never had a losing season. If anything, it's like when you were talking about Sean's regular season record, right? You know the team is going to be good during the regular season. So why are you even worried about anything to begin with? Like, this dude got this Steelers team to the playoffs with 3 different quarterbacks last season.
But now they have the hardest schedule in NFL. So
okay,
yeah, I don't think they're definitely not going to playoffs this season.
That right there, I don't even care about. And not to say because you brought it up, but I go back to the year when we had to play the Falcons, we played the Broncos. Oh man, they're gonna get destroyed. We beat them all because everybody went off of what last year was. Right. It's the hardest schedule, but injuries might happen. Yeah. They might not be as good as somebody might have a new coach. Somebody gets hurt. It's the right time, the right place, the right time, and that record flips on his hat real fast.
There's a lot of teams that make it to the Super Bowl that doesn't make it to the playoffs the following year.
Right, and that's the thing. You catch lightning in a bottle, and I mean, people. Oh, it's all stats. Like I said, stats meant to be broken. Yeah. It's mano a mano. What you got? He chuckling.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Student Body said, "I won't believe in this team in Buffalo until Aramis does." Whittle your thoughts. If Whittle's watching right now, man, chime in, bro.
Student Body knows you very well.
Yes. Well, but I mean, the what makes that funny though is me and Whittle have a debate lined up at some point in the future that we have to execute. So that'll be fun and interesting. Maybe we'll save that for the round table we do sometime this season. But
there you go.
That'll be hilarious. But yeah. So in terms of this game, I'll ask you guys this first. What do you think is the give me 1 to 3 things that you think the Cardinals need to do to have success in this game, and then we can kind of do the same thing for the Bills?
I am leaning towards my analysis on the Cardinals offense. In my mind, they only have, in the passing game, they only got 2 weapons, right? To me, McBride and Harrison. However, James Conner is a veteran running back, and he's good. I think he's underrated. People don't value how good he is. Also, they got a rookie behind him, and Trey Benson, who he can fly. He's good.
He's big. He fly. He's
really big. So I'm more worried about the run than I am the pass.
100%.
I'm more worried about the run, even though Dorian Williams, he's predicated to stop the run, and he kind of vulnerable in the pass. I'm worried about the run game. So I'm trying to help myself out saying that the Bills are solid in the run game. So if they attack the run, you'll be good. But I don't know. However, what's going to happen is if we get the lead, then they're going to force to shut the run game down and they're going to have to pass.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not worried about, and this is part of my bias with Marvin Harrison.
No, brother.
I'm not too worried about him. I'm more worried about McBride killing us because of Williams.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more worried about him hurting us than Harrison.
And you best believe they're going to attack him.
And it could be the opposite. Like me, I know I'm biased because I don't like him, but I'm just being biased. But it may be the other way around. Maybe Harrison's going to kill us. But I'm more worried about McBride. If we get up on him and the run game doesn't work, they're going to have to force feed McBride, which might come to our advantage because, like I said, to me, they only got 2 weapons that's going to kill us.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm worried about you touched on it. I'm worried about Harrison versus whoever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't know what Kyler Murray and Harrison cooked up. I don't know what they look like together. They didn't really do anything. Obviously, they didn't do anything in the preseason.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they didn't do something off field. I doubt they did. 2 egos like that. And it wasn't on Madden. You know how Kyler Murray hits on his games. But I think this could be a big game if he's matched up with Douglas, because Douglas is a gambler. Douglas is a guy who likes to bite. And like I told you before, you weren't here, but I said last show, Green Bay said Douglas is like Deron Bland or like Trayvon Diggs.
Yep.
He bites on everything and he makes big plays, but he gets burned a lot. Marvin Harrison is not great off the line. Well, he's not great in speed. He's a tactician. He knows how to beat a press. He knows how to use his hands. He knows how to run after the catch. And that's the kind of thing that's going to lull a Douglas into a false sense of security, a false sense of I got this. And that'll play right into Harrison's hand. Even though he's a rookie, he's a polished guy with his dad, as you know, has worked with him forever.
Right.
And he shows flashes of his dad and then some. So it's not like we talked about Keon Coleman where he has to learn and grow. He might already have it. We just don't know yet.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me about their organization. Defensively, I don't know enough about anybody on their defense to even care. Yeah. Their defense would be to the point about the Bills. I don't know what our offense is capable of. We don't have that alpha wide receiver. Curtis Samuel is a guy they're going to gadget, but he also is from somebody that's hurt. He's good to go. He's still, he was a last minute, what is he going to do? Was he capable of? Is he all right?
Yeah.
And then you got a lot of question marks. This is the game where I really don't have a good answer for what I expect. This is the game when you said the title of the show, I said, I don't have anything for why we must win or how we're going to win or whatever the case may be. I know what I'm looking for, whether we win or lose. And that's one of the things I was looking for. How does the offense show up?
So I'm sorry, did you have something?
I was just going to ask, does Douglas travel?
Mm-mm.
He stays on that one side?
Yeah,
So if they move him around, like if they move Harrison around, do you think Benford will be better?
I think Benford would be less susceptible to a big play.
Okay.
So I think I would say both corners. So if you look at what Sean typically does with his corners, they almost never get left on an island unless they're playing that hybrid man zone type of coverage on any given play, right? That's literally the only time that their defense is susceptible to guys with speed or your bigger playmakers like a Marvin Harrison, right? But what I think happened, what I think could happen in this game, and what I think will happen is I don't think we're going to see the Buffalo Bills offense really open up and get running on all cylinders, right? Here's why. The Cardinals are extremely susceptible to the run.
Ooh,
their defensive line is not great at all, to the point where they spent $10 million on both of their defensive ends on that 3-man front to come in and try and help that defensive line play better, right? And you remember last episode I told you their nose tackle, I think it's Roy Davis or something like that, whatever. He was a backup last year who, because he stuck around and they don't have a better option, he's their nose tackle now. So their defensive line needs a lot of help. On top of that, their linebacking core is athletic, but they are not playmakers, right? I think their weak side outside linebacker Gordon, he's just a pass rushing dude. You know what I'm saying? He's a 4 or 5 guy. He's got, he's athletic. They're all athletic, but they're better at pass rushing than they are playing against the run. Last year they were terrible against the run too. Right? So with all of that being taken into consideration, I think the Bills are going to be able to get what they want on the ground so that they don't have to do very much in the pass game.
Gotcha.
And I think that fits exactly the way that Sean wants to play this game. Why? Because it's safe football. There's less chances for turnovers, and that's how he wants to play every game. So I think you'll see, you might see a jet sweep or something like that with Curtis Samuel, or you might see one of those bubble screens again with Curtis Samuel, something to kind of, shake things up and keep the defense off guard. But I think with Ray Davis and Cook, they'll be able to get what they want on the ground. You know what I mean? And so that may not give you a true idea of what the identity of the offense is going to be for the season. You know what I mean? I think you're going to see that next week when we face a team that can actually score.
Yeah. Because to Airman's point, if like you got Ray Davis now, Cook, plus you got Josh.
Yeah.
So if we can score by just running the clock out, absolutely they're going to do that. Why not? Especially if they can't stop it. The only thing that I'm looking at, pull up the Cardinals. Only thing they got Sean Murphy Bunting. He's a good cornerback, and they got Budda Baker still. And then they got Kazir White at middle linebacker.
Yeah, he's a good linebacker too. He's good in coverage.
But you're right. Their front line, we should be able to run on them.
Right.
When you look at last year, they were worst in defensive rushing. They were 31st in points against. They were 24th in points for. So they don't score and they get scored on.
Right.
And they get run on. However, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough because this is a situation where it's a quick turnaround, so they can't do two different game plans.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to kind of see a repeat almost. So it's going to be a blending, if you will, of game plans for Arizona and Miami, which is tough because Miami is a completely different team than Arizona.
True. Completely different.
Roy says, it seems to me that I've heard about a team having a weakness and the Bills will expose it. When the game happens, it doesn't come to fruition.
Yep. That's why you see me shaking my head.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's why though. Because the I need everybody to understand this going forward throughout the whole season. The weakness of Sean's defense is twofold, and those two weaknesses are so massive that if a team is able to take advantage of just one of them to any degree, it tilts the game in an extremely unfavorable way for the Bills, right? That is, they're very, very weak against the run. The scheme itself, the design of it, where you play a 2 linebacker system where the linebackers are designed to shoot gaps as necessary, and the defensive linemen are basically told you don't rush the run. You try to hold gaps. So you're asking your defensive linemen, all 4 down linemen, to hold position against 5 offensive linemen. Somebody's going to get double teamed. Somebody's going to get moved. It's one of the things that we saw the Patriots do when they still had Tom Brady there. They would just double team one of the dudes, move them out of the way, and now you're just at a numbers mismatch, right? And when all you have to go against after that are 220 pound linebackers, it's not that big of a problem, right? In coverage, in a 2 linebacker system, the way that Sean plays it, your linebackers are basically the heart of that defense. They are the playmakers in that defense. It just so happened that we got lucky with Hyde and Poyer being the playmakers of this defense, right? But the way that Sean played it in Carolina, the way that he designed it and drew it up, Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly were the heart of that defense. That's the way he wants his defense to work, where you got all pro, all-star level linebackers that can do everything, right? They can rush the passer, they can take on blocks and stop the run, and they can cover. We don't have that. I'm sorry. Like that's the best way I can put it. Our guys are great in coverage. They're great at shooting gaps. but they don't take on blocks.
Yeah, I was going to say everything you said about Carolina is not what we have here. You talk about two guys that can do stuff. We have one guy that we think can do it all, and we have another guy that's going to be out there that really hasn't proven he can do anything.
Right.
You know, he's got the skills, or he's got the physical, but he hasn't done anything on the field or shown that he is capable of doing it. And they double it down by not drafting somebody else that could. I mean, Milano, yeah, it's a nice story, beautiful.
Well,
Bravo.
Ulofoshio is nice if you know you can develop him into that.
He's a cover guy. Ulofoshio's not physical at the point of attack. So yeah, you won't get that downfield out of him. He's going to be washed out of run games, I think. And that's the thing about McDermott. For somebody that depends on his linebackers as much as he does, you keep drafting the same guys that don't hold up against the run game. Yep. You keep drafting. You know, they finally got a nose tackle. They finally got somebody. And I was looking while you were talking about Roy Lopez is their nose tackle.
Roy, okay, sorry.
And I was looking at number 95. I saw the last name Tonga. Now you know me. I clicked on it.
How big is he, Keith?
Of course.
Chris Tonga, 6'2", 340.
340?
Let me grab that.
Whoa.
Press play.
Yo.
Press play.
Hey, yo, you get two of those for that. Let you do what now?
6'2".
No.
Let me grab it.
Whoa, again. Oh my God, bro. You about to go. Nah, you need one of those and an AO.
Let's go.
You about to go to jail, bro.
No, I'm not.
You about to go to social jail.
Me. Let's go. Daquan Jones, then this guy. He's got the last name and he got the chest. Man, I want this on the squad.
This dude got a thing for
Samoans and man. Put him right in the center of any line you want.
Yo, and he got the tattoo.
That's what I'm saying. The tribal man, listen.
You know he good.
You know he gonna eat somebody.
This man is in Madden heaven right now.
He's not even smiling right now. He like, yo,
I'm about to eat.
I'm about to hurt somebody. Like you ain't got your pads on, Chris. I don't need pads. Just give me a moment. You do a hawker mid play, man. It's on.
Yo, I'm looking at McBride, bro. He might be the next Kelsey.
You said what?
He might be the next Kelsey.
Hey, I got him on two of my leagues.
That's what they saying.
Yo, he's nice, man.
Yeah. Laura says, I feel like I'm going blind. Babbage and Brady's real testing period, plus not seeing much of the starters in the preseason.
You are going blind. You are. And that's why I'm the way I am. I'm cautiously optimistic. All these numbers are good, but I don't know what we got. We know what they got.
Yeah.
So we don't know what we got.
I'm confident in our cornerbacks. Like I kind of know what to expect from Benford. I know what to expect from Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to expect from the safeties.
Did you know? Somehow, explain this to me now. I want you to explain to me. How was Damar Hamlin last year on the field? Did he play more? Did he even dress most of the time?
No.
Bad angles against the run, not great in coverage at all.
Well, no, that's not okay. But my point is,
sorry.
No. My point is, he didn't dress.
Yeah.
But him and Rapp took all the second team reps in practice. How?
How do you mean?
Which practice?
Last year they played together.
Yeah.
Second team exclusively, those two.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How are you the second team safety, but you don't even get a jersey on game day? Cam Lewis should have been a second team safety with Taylor Rapp did, because you're the fourth safety, right? But why are you practicing with guys that may play when you don't even get a jersey?
Well, no. Sean said it was consistency that made him decide to name Hamlin the starter.
I know last year though, Rapp and Hamlin were the second string safety unit.
Right. I get it.
But but Rapp never. I mean, Hamlin never dressed.
He never dressed.
So what's the point of putting him there if he's not even getting a jersey?
Yeah, but he played what, the year before that, before he got hurt?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you got somebody in mind as your number 4 safety,
mm-hmm.
Your number 4 safety should probably be your number 4 safety in practice too.
Well, you got to keep in mind the two guys that were supposed to be ahead of him were hurt. So I think this is just, and remember the last episode my theory is I think he's another player that kind of has a short leash, because if he goes out there and he starts laying an egg, listen, I got Coleman, I got Mike Edwards sitting there waiting to come in. By the time he's gotten to the point where he's fed up with Damar Hamlin, both of those guys will have a handle on the defensive scheme to some degree where they can go in and play.
Is Seen on the depth chart too?
It's practice squad. Yeah, because to me he would be above all of them.
Yeah,
not Edwards.
Not who?
Not Edwards.
Man, Edwards can kick rock. Fam,
Edwards is on the team, bro. He's on the 53.
Yeah,
But
I know
yo,
he is.
And he's healthy now.
I'm not gonna lie.
So
I
that's
know,
even
I
worse.
know, I know. Singh could ball though.
Yeah, he can ball.
I know he could ball. Like
The fact that
I-
Edwards is on the
yeah.
team and healthy and can't get that spot, they tell you McDermott like, yo,
because
Damn
he have
Well,
enough
he ain't
time.
hitting
That's what I'm
nothing.
saying. He
And
had
McDermott's like, I don't trust you. Like, I don't. Nah, he said when DeMar screws up, maybe I look at you. You better hold.
Now, I kind of respect McDermott for that. Here, the reason why is, my opinion is just me.
Mhm.
I think Edwards is better than Hamlin and Rapp as far as talent wise.
Mhm.
But just because you're better talent wise, but you ain't got the mental reps, and I don't know if you can run my defense.
Right.
But I know this guy can. You might be a little bit better than him, but I trust him because he know what to do, make decisions. I'd rather put him in. If he said, no, you on the bench, and he put Edwards in, I'm like, yo, Sean, what are you doing?
You already
Yeah,
know how.
'cause
That's where I thought it was going.
And I was like, yo, what are you doing, bro?
That's what I
It's
thought it was
literally the only time where we've seen Sean do something that a normal coach would do or should do. You know what I'm saying? You start the guy who's had more time in the system,
Right.
you know, versus the guy who you might have liked better at the beginning when you signed him, but he's been hurt. So, but really quick, I want to get to these three reasons the Bills have to win Sunday, right? And you guys can tell me what you think about this. Okay, number one. This first game is by far the easiest of the first 6, I'll even say 7 weeks of the season.
Mhm.
By far the easiest,
Mhm.
right? I can say that because in 2 weeks we play the Jaguars, but we've consistently struggled against the Jaguars. It just is what it is,
On
right?
Monday night.
Huh?
Jaguars home Monday night.
Exactly. So that's another reason the pressure's on. So I'm not even thinking about that game right now. If they don't win this, they have Miami, then the Jaguars,
Baltimore,
then Baltimore,
In Baltimore.
and
they
then
gotta go to Houston.
then they have to go to Houston.
Then they gotta go to MetLife.
Then they got to go to MetLife.
Well, they never play good in MetLife.
Right. And
This is how I look at it. This is how, I mean, it's kind of screwed up now that we have 17 games, but we always used to play quarters.
Yeah,
When I play basketball, you always say you have to win the quarters.
Yeah.
So I split the season up in 4 quarters.
I do the same thing, Keith.
Yeah, are you 3-1?
I do the same
that's
thing.
That's how I do it. Are you
First
3-1?
quarter
Are you 2-2?
gonna be hard.
right.
So they got to come out of that at least 2-2, I'd say.
Exactly. But again,
You said 2 and what?
2-2.
2
at
and 2.
least.
2 and 2.
That's what I'm saying. That's good. But that's why this game is necessary, right?
Yeah.
And that leads me into reason number 2, right? Reason number 2 is this team in particular, where half the team is basically new. They're still getting into the culture. So it's not like they can rely on the camaraderie and the culture and the chemistry that they had last year, right? They will need that momentum going into Miami to be able to believe that they can do it so that they can win that game and then have 2 under their belt. If you can get 2 under your belt going into Baltimore and Houston, you might have a shot.
Yeah.
But if you lose this one, and the players know, they know this is the easiest game of this next, 6-7 game stretch, right? They know that. But if you lose this one and you lose that momentum, and half of your team is not even used to how things operate when you win games. So the reason I say momentum is you look at what happened last year when Joe Brady came on. Like all it took literally was a new face to come in with some energy, and the locker room was able to pull itself together.
That had some juice.
Right.
That
Because
juice.
everybody has been there for a few years. The leaders were there. They still had some of their playmakers on the teams. All right, you know what? We can do this. Let's do it. You don't have that anymore this year. You don't. Right? So I'm looking at momentum being a very big thing in what's supposed to be a transition year. They have to get this game in order to keep that momentum going into Miami next week, right? Reason number 3. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. To speak to reason number 2. Last year, the Bills had the 7th hardest schedule, right? Some people put them at 3. Some people put them at the hardest this year. Some people put them at tied for 6th, right? But most people agree this season is harder than last season.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that also speaks to, listen, the pressure's on. You got to get wins where you're supposed to get wins. Okay? Reason number 3, the Bills only have 3 more weeks to really surprise teams before tape comes out and everybody knows who the Bills are. That's just the league, right? Usually by week 4, teams have a general idea of who they are, how they need to get better. By week 4, other teams have an idea of who the Bills are and what they need to do to stop them. So if you don't surprise these first 4 teams and go 4-0, and you only go 1-3, or you go 0-4, you ain't surprising nobody else, baby. And I'm not saying it's over. I'm not saying it can't be done, but the likelihood and the probability and the chances of that happening, we've seen the Bills do some amazing things. I'm not taking that away from us. I'm not hating on the Bills, but that makes this game that much more important to ensure that you have all these things working in order, that the locker room has a certain level of belief and confidence within themselves that they can go out here against these strong teams and make some plays and win. Because I'm sorry, players know when they're a good team and when they're not. They know when they're going to have to work hard to win a game and when they expect to win a game. That's just how it is. So those are my 3 reasons. What do y'all think, real quick?
You made a good point with the schedule, because the schedule is not getting any easier, man. Like, so this is one of the games that, like you said, is one of the easiest games on the schedule. Our next easy game is not till Tennessee, and that's this week 7. So yeah, I think we got to win this game too. For number 1, everybody is talking about what are the Bills, what are they going to do, what are they going to do. So like kind of you said, kind of that confidence thing. Like, let's see what y'all made of. And then we open up at home, bro. Like, we at home. We not on the road. We come. This is your house. What is it? How are you going to pretty much defend your house? Like, you going to let them roll over you, or what you going to do? So this to me is a statement game. I want to see their attitude. I want to see what kind of attitude they got. I want to see if they got juice, if the offense got some juice. Like, I know how, because based off the training camp in the preseason, the defense got juice, but I need to see that from the offense.
See what you got.
No, I think the only thing I can glean from this game is momentum. They got to go in. They got to gain 5 games after they play on Sunday. It's not even enough time to get a second game plan in. You're on the plane right away. So I mean, what they do on Sunday, you have to win that game and take momentum over to Thursday night. There's nothing I can really say in terms of game tested offense, but we have to wait and see. I think you're going to have to learn as you go. If they win while learning as they go, that's a big confidence booster. Also, defensively, we have to win. We have to beat a team that, like you said, they have. Okay, was it Mike Wilson and Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride? Because what do they have on Thursday? You got Jalen Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, and you got Jonnu Smith, who said Buffalo is whatever he said. The wings aren't that good in Buffalo or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
But it ratchets up. True is more predictable than Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray he's a loose cannon. He does what he wants, but you have to be able to instill your will. And if you see yourself do it one time, you can do it again. It's just all in the confidence for me.
Right. All right. So real quick, score predictions. What do you guys got?
I got Bills 24-10.
24-10.
I'll say Bills. I'll go Bills. I'm gonna say 21-17.
Ooh.
21-17. That's, man.
A one-score game?
Yeah, Bills don't win those, man. One-score game. They
I
don't typically win those close games.
I think we'll actually be losing at some point in this game.
Huh?
I think we'll actually be losing at some point in this game.
Really?
Wow.
I think we'll win the game, but I think we're gonna go down at some point.
Okay.
Hope I'm wrong.
I'm gonna say 34-14. I truly believe, with the Bills, multiple looks in the run game. I think the strength there is too good in terms of controlling the clock, time of possession, not having turnovers. I think that's going to be a big part of their game plan, is running the ball, forcing this team to have to crash down. And I think they're going to capitalize with some play action. And I think Coleman, I think we're going to see Coleman make a big play. I think he's going to get a chance in this game. I think we'll see him make a big play. And same thing for Curtis Samuel. I'd like to see. Why you write that? He said, kiss my bass. Right, because his uncle's watching. I do think. Well, I'm sorry. I'll be interested to see how they use Cook in terms of the passing game. He's another one of those guys, Greg Cosell kind of not compared, but kind of brought him up also to kind of say he's another one of those Christian McCaffrey types in terms of the way that they can be used detached from the formation. So
Can be.
Yeah. So something like that. But ultimately, I think the run game is a major weakness, and I think the rookie Max Melton, the second round pick that they have, I think that's another weakness. You take advantage of his inexperience, you go after him the same way you did Miami's nickel corner last year, and you make them pay. You make them pay for putting inexperience and weakness on the field, and I think that it should be a very, very manageable game for the Bills. So, say what now? Lindsay says, I can judge. If Jonnu Smith thinks wings are better in Miami than Buffalo, he's a total moron. Food in Miami sucks and overpriced.
Dang.
Wow. Roy said, is it a hairy bass? Bruh. We're talking about hairy basses. Big A, what's going on? He says 31-17 Bills. Roy's got 27-20. Oh, that's why Keyshawn said that. Roy said Bass kicks 2 field goals. From what distance? I 53. Think if it's
53.
If it's under 50, what was going on with Justin Tucker last night? You think that's what it is?
Probably, but he still is 100% 30 and under. What 30 like 35
yes,
and under?
Never missed. Yep.
Never missed one. Not even one. Like over 100. Just money.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I hope we're right. I hope the Bills come out with a fairly easy win. Keyshawn seems to think it's going to be a struggle. I hope it's not that. This is one of those games where I'll take a nice, easy win so that we can look good, feel good, and go into next week.
You better not be right, Keyshawn. You better not be right.
I said we won.
You better not be right.
2017 or 21-17?
21-17.
Actually, hold on. Wait a minute. Keyshawn might be on something. Hey, if they struggle, if they win, but they struggle, they'll be more focused for Miami.
You think so?
I think they would have to be. Like, man, we almost choked with this easy team. Now we got to play them boys.
They might go
in Miami.
That's a good
but
point.
then again, it is Miami. This is division. Like, to me, they never take them lightly, even if they run through Arizona. I don't think that they're gonna take them lightly.
Yeah.
But still, Miami ain't gonna be no cakewalk, man. Even though we've been successful, ain't gonna be a cakewalk.
So Monday's gonna be a fun show. We're gonna do a recap and a pregame at the same time.
That's very true.
Because it's Thursday.
Yeah, that's gonna be a heavy episode. We're gonna have a lot to get into in that one, but that's for another day. And that day is Monday. Anyway, we got to get Key out of here before he gets fired. And OLI, I haven't seen OLI in a few weeks. He might be at work again.
But it's all right.
Yeah, not saying he wasn't at work before, but like I don't know what his schedule is now. All right, here we go. All right, if you're hearing that music, that means it's time for us to get out of here. I want to thank everybody that tuned in today for tuning in. Listen, if you have not done this already, like, subscribe, hit that bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications so you can stay in tune with what we got going on. We got some big stuff going on. I actually just confirmed with my pops we're going to do some film review stuff, right? So Wednesdays, we're going to do like a 10-minute spot. It may be a little bit longer depending on, how deeply we get into it. But we're going to start doing film review stuff, and we're going to have him kind of, going through, certain key plays or plays that he thinks because I'm going to be a part of it too, but just plays that we think were, key to the game or key turning points and things like that to kind of get deeper into the science of football, which I really enjoyed. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we can start that this coming Wednesday, but if not, I will definitely put a notification in the community section of our YouTube channel and on the Do Champions Media channel. That will also be out on their social media too, when and where you can find that stuff. Okay. So with that being said, our social media stuff, All the links are in the description. Okay, so if you want to contact us outside of this medium, you can get in contact with us there. Just click the link; it'll take you right to our pages, and you can hit us in our direct messages. Other than that, I didn't get a chance to talk about this at the beginning of the episode, but we are sponsored by Ree's Tea, right? Right, it's right there on the screen. Okay.
4 ingredients, best tasting tea inside of the Mason-Dixon line. Okay.
There you have it. Keyshawn's got to go. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Y'all have a great night.